Hello everyone, it's Nathan from Nathan's DIY Garage. Today we're going to do a valve cover gasket replacement. Okay, so there's a few things you want to do first before you start this job, before you even think about starting it. We're going to check the valve cover gasket and see if it needs to be replaced or just resealed. So let's go ahead and go over here and take a look at this. You're going to see the gasket sticking out. And you're going to see it right there. A couple things to look at. Let me see, make sure this thing's going to focus for you. There you go. You can see how the valve cover gasket is not tucked in under the valve cover. See the gap in it right there? So that's going to tell me that this cover is a little bit warped. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to stick the screwdriver in gently, and we're going to see how hard the gasket is. It's really soft there. Let's go over to the exhaust side. See if it'll focus. Okay. So you can see on this side the gasket is actually loose in there. This bolt's tight. I just checked it after seeing this. The gasket's still really soft. So you can see it seeping down here. You can see back in here it's seeping down the manifold. So this gasket is not going to need to be replaced. This one is just going to need to be resealed. Okay. So this is what I like to use for this. You're going to need 3 tools. First of all, you're going to need a straight screwdriver to get the caps off. You're going to need a tin, and I use this on my impact with a swivel. You see me using this thing a lot. This makes this job literally less than 10 minutes to get it off. You're also going to need an 8 to take off the wires that go in the coil packs. So let's go ahead and get started. So you're going to want some kind of box to put your bolts in. I have a box here on the ground next to me. You could also use a magnetic tray, although you'll need a pretty good size one to do this. So let's go ahead and start off by taking the cap off here. Prise off like that. Okay, so that cap's off. The rest of these are already off. I took these off yesterday. We're just going to lift this thing here out of the way. We're going to set it where it's not going to get stepped on. So we're going to go ahead and take the oil cap off. We're going to take our tin. We're just going to leave the nuts in there. We're going to pick that up off of here like that. Set this off to the side also. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take out the coil packs. There's going to be 2 tins on each one. They're going to be staggered. Let's go ahead and take that off. Go ahead and put those in our box. And these coil packs, the thing flips up like that and it pulls out. So on these you're going to want to look for is oil around the edge, any kind of splitting, cracking. This has a little bit of arcing. We'll clean that up. I'll show you that in a later video, how to clean and service those. So I'm going to take those out. You can see the impact works tremendously faster than using a ratchet. You just don't want to use this impact to put these back in with, for obvious reasons. Let's go ahead and pull these out one at a time. Okay, that one's good. And if there's oil on any of these, that means the valve cover gasket's leaking around the plug seals. Okay, so far so good. Good. Looks like somebody's just replaced these not very long ago. They are aftermarket coil packs, but they're made in Spain apparently. No brand name on them, probably from eBay, but seems like they're working, so whatever. Okay, so let's go and switch out to the 8. We're going to pull this wiring harness off real quick. It's going to be 1/8 on the stud right there. And then after you take that 1/8 off, it comes off like that. Grab a hold of this. This one's already been popped off for some reason. We're going to flip this up back out of the way. You're going to have your oxygen sensors down here. They just pull out like that. Real super easy. And some of these cars is going to be a vacuum hose routed through this, which is right here. So we're going to pull him out. I'm going to pull the harness out of the back holder and just kind of get everything separated out from there. Might be able to flip this up. Like that. Go and unplug the O2 sensors. Go and pull the vacuum line off. It's just rotten. Super rotten. Let's kind of get that up out of the way. Okay, so now there's 2 more 8s on the ground straps. So let's go ahead and bang those out. Be careful not to drop the small nuts down in the hole, spark plug hole. If you do, you just have to get a magnet and fish it out. Okay, all the 8s are off, so we're going to switch back to the 10. So what we're going to use this 10, and we're going to pull out all the bolts with this. So on the rubber, see, the nut comes off like this. On the rubber, if it sticks in there, we're going to take a screwdriver, a straight screwdriver, and we're going to pop it out. And you want to make sure you have the metal washer and the rubber on each one of them. This one is way over torqued, it's squishing out. That's why you're probably trying to get it to stop leaking, because the valve cover's warped. That one came out all in one piece. I'll go ahead and pull all the nuts out. And I might add too that this car has already had the air boxes taken out, the cabin air filter boxes. Okay, so we get the back one with this. Now, might have to get a deep well to put on it. Okay, so we're back on this back corner one. Usually that comes out with the impact with the universal. This one was just stupid tight, and you see that sometimes if it's leaking in the back corner. Somebody puts a ratchet on it and cranks it down. You could easily break the valve cover gasket doing that. Many other things. So what I did, got back here with a 10 ratchet wrench, broke it loose, took it out with the impact, and no problems. So while the video was off, I went ahead and pulled all the washers out, all the metal and rubber pieces. So this thing should be pretty much free. Get this other oxygen sensor cable out of the way. This CCV valve hose is already disconnected. We don't have to do that. Otherwise, you would just squeeze it right there and pull that off. So let's go ahead and lift it off and see what we got going on here. It's a little bit stuck. You want to be careful lifting it off so you don't break it. Okay, it's all coming off, stuck to the head. So we're just going to want to go ahead and pull it up here gently. Careful, don't ruin the existing gaskets. Okay. Let's go ahead and flip it over and take a look. What's going on here? The gaskets are pretty damn soft. I mean, they're really good shape. Somebody just had a spot here, a spot there. No sealer in the corners. A little bit of sealer on the front edge, not much. I'm not sure what in the hell they were doing. Put all that back in there. Okay, so what we're going to want to do, this gasket's still really good. It's really soft, really pliable. Somebody's replaced this recently, or hasn't driven a lot since they replaced it. So we're going to go and take carburetor cleaner. We're going to clean up the whole entire surface. And we're going to spray gasket sealer back on. Now this car needs to come apart anyway, so in today's video we're not going to do that. But when you seal these up, you need to use the RTV Ultra Black, is like the bare minimum. The Toyota Gray, in my last videos you saw me using the 3-bond, 1194, 1201, whatever 3-bond you get your hands on. It's pretty much all the same thing, and it's a real thin material. So we're going to carburetor clean all this off. We're also going to pull these up, and we're going to look and make sure that there's no cracks on any of these anywhere. And since you're using the same gasket, you're going to want to carburetor clean all this out. You're also going to look down in here in the grooves, make sure there's no pieces of old gasket stuck down in there. This one looks pretty good. You're going to want to inspect it for cracks anywhere around the bolt holes, around the spark plug holes. You're going to look for cracks around the edge to make sure it's not going to leak. Okay, so there's one more thing. You're going to want to go ahead and pull this gasket out and spray out this groove. You're going to clean this whole gasket and get all the oil off of it. So let's go ahead and set this off to the side for right now. We're going to talk about a few other things. Let me pick you up and bring you in. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look and make sure there's no foam. Nothing's foamed up and hardened here, or the oil. It's kind of tell you what's been going on with the engine. This engine has been overheated, so we know it's kind of got some issues going on. You see a little bit here. That's kind of a sign of not changing the oil too often. You're going to want to get a flashlight or something and look down in there. You're going to want to make sure that this timing chain guide's good. You're going to want to make sure that the timing chain guide down and on the bottom on the secondary chain is good. You're going to look down at the primary timing chain down here. Make sure it's not broken in two. You should be able to get a flashlight and a screwdriver and kind of wiggle it, make sure it's not snapped. Just kind of look at everything else, make sure everything else is good shape in here before you put the valve cover back on. So we are going to want to clean around these, obviously. Clean all the gasket surface up here. You're going to want to stick the gaskets back in the valve cover itself, not on the head. Then you're going to flip this upside down and put it all in all at one time. So at that point in time, this might fall out. You could put a little dot of sealer on the back side in each corner just to hold it on. I don't put sealer on the back side. Depends on what kind of warpage you got running. You might have to. Okay, so putting these back on, the tightening sequence is crisscross. I like going down to the middle and barely snugging the middle up, and then starting from the middle out, do the outer ones and barely snug those up. Then when you go back in for the final tighten, you do the middle, all three, and work your way out. It seems like that squishes it down the best. Some of this gap in here that we saw before we took it off, that could be some of them not tightening that down right. It's just really hard to say. So I think it's 25 Newton meters, I'm not for sure. I don't like to go by that. I like to go ahead and tighten it down until you see, grab one here. you like to watch these, and once these start to squish out a little bit, that's when I like to stop. So I would use a 1/4" drive ratchet with a 10 to put it back on and do the sequence I just showed you until that starts to squish out. You kind of tell by feel what's going on. You know, the foot-pounds on this, once they start getting some age on them, that may not be what you need. You might need a little more. For today's video, if you liked today's video and you found it helpful, go to my channel, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, comment on the section below. Also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Nathan's DIY Garage. Thank you.